What's up, everyone? This is Destroyer229, and today I'm going to give you some information on the play records in Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. Play records are essentially this game's form of achievements that you get through doing various actions throughout the game. There's not really too much information on these play records, and much less of it even in English. So I wanted to make this video to show how you get every single play record in the game. Now, once you get all of the play records, this is what you should see on the trophy wall. Trophies are essentially different criteria that you fulfill by completing certain play records. Whether they deal with certain characters, certain dungeons, or just doing certain actions. The ultimate goal is this trophy right here, that you only get when you completely finish the game and get 100% of the play records. Now, while this is an extension of my Let's Play on Tokyo Mirage Sessions, this is a standalone video. I may refer to a few things from that Let's Play, so if you are interested, there is a playlist on my channel with my blind playthrough of this game. But, if you're simply interested in knowing how to get every single play record, that is completely fine. You don't need to watch that series to understand how to get these. And I hope that this video can serve as some help if you are also going after 100%. I will also have timestamps to the different categories in the description. So if you're looking for a specific play record in a specific section, you can go to the timestamp in the description and it will jump to the different subsection. So, starting off in the story subsection, most of these play records you will get by just completing the game normally. A lot of these are just for completing certain chapters, so you won't need to worry about most of the story-based play records. What you will need to look out for are these last four. First is Grand Finale. You get this play record for completing the game with the best ending. In order to get this, you need to have completed every single side mission and talk to every single person in your party and your cast, which includes Maiko, Barry, and obviously Tiki, at the end of the game. You will know that you have this play record if you unlock the President Itsuki costume. If you have that, then you have this play record. These last three are certain percentages for completing the side missions. So, on your mark is completing 10% of the side stories, or in other words, 3 of them, since there are 27 total. Get Set Go is for 50%, or about 14 of them, and good job for completing all 27. Next category is Cast. A lot of these are pretty similar, but deal with each individual party member. So, for the ones with Itsuki, we have Upcoming Model, Backup Singer, and Smash Hit. You'll get these throughout the course of the story, since Itsuki's side missions kind of relate to completing certain chapters. So you'll get these for getting certain SP or ad-lib skills. Champion Itsuki is for finishing a battle using a skill Itsuki used. Pretty simple, you'll probably get this as one of your first play records. Best Dressed Itsuki is for getting all of Itsuki's costumes. You won't be able to get this until New Game Plus, since this does mean you have to get the President Itsuki costume, which means you need to have gotten the best ending of the game. Radiant Star Itsuki is for getting all of Itsuki's Radiant skills. For most other characters, this simply means getting their stage rank to 20. With Itsuki, there's a few different things that you need to be aware of. For one of the Performa that you need for one of his Radiant unities is obtainable only through the arena. Another one is from request number 47. It's the first one that Neig gives you. So be on the lookout for those Radiant unities, because those are not exactly the easiest ones to get to, as they require additional work as opposed to just getting to a certain stage rank. For most of the other casts, they're pretty similar. We have Tsubasa to the stage, which is also similar to most other characters. This is when you have characters added to your party, and you'll get these throughout the game. Then you have each individual character's side missions. For Tsubasa, it was Meet and Greet Pleasure, Opening Your Heart, and a Wind-Colored Tsubasa. This is the same for all characters. It's simply completing their side missions. Champion, which is the exact same as Itsuki, simply finish a battle with Tsubasa having the final attack. Best Dressed, which is having all of Tsubasa's costumes, and Radiant Star, which is getting all of Tsubasa's Radiant skills. This is the same for every single character. So just follow that formula with Itsuki and Tsubasa with each of your party members, and you'll get all of their different play records. This is slightly different when it comes to the different cast members, Maiko, Barry, and Tiki. We of course have the introduction play record as well as their 3 side missions. But each character also has their own unique play record. For Maiko, it's Daydream Queen. For this, you need to have unlocked all 4 of Maiko's imaginary collaborations. In other words, all of the different duo arts that Maiko gives you. Maiko will send you a topic indicating that she has an idea for a collaboration, and you can't really talk to her about anything else unless you do that. So as soon as Maiko sends you a message on topic, immediately talk to her and you'll get a duo art. Get all 4 and you'll get this play record. Barry's is similar until you get to Boot Camp Buddy. With this, it says endured 30 conversations. What this means is that you need to enter Uzume 30 times. This isn't really too difficult, as you'll enter Uzume to end intermissions, as well as to do various things with other characters and the main story. You don't need to necessarily have a reason to enter Uzume though. So you could just enter and leave, and you can basically farm this that way. Though considering that you'll need to play through the game 3 times, you may just get this throughout the normal course of gameplay. And then finally there's Tiki. Again, introduction as well as her 3 side missions, and then we have Rainbow Augmentation. For this, you need to have unlocked all of Tiki's costumes. These you get from Onzu's. Now this is also one that you have to get within New Game Plus, since one of Tiki's costumes is only available after Chapter 2 on a New Game Plus. So after that point, you could just go to Onzu's and just farm her lottery until you get all of Tiki's costumes. Moving on over to the Mirage section, these are all incredibly similar and all follow the same format. So I'll only go over Chroms, but this applies to every single person's Mirage that is in your party. So first we have a Great Lord is Born and a Conqueror is Born. These are play records for simply class changing. One for each character's advanced class. So simply make both of these classes that your characters can make, and you'll get a play record for both of them. Next is Skill Guru, and this is from inheriting skills from your weapons. This is slightly different from different characters. For Chrom, Kata, and Kain, you need to inherit 50 skills. From Tharja and Virion, it's 40, and from Draug and Navarre, it's 30. From Carnage Master, you need to make 15 weapons from each character. The only exception are Draug and Navarre, in which it's 10. Both of these are pretty simple to get, as you'll probably be constantly making and remaking weapons, especially from remaking weapons in order to get Draug and especially Navarre's. And finally, there's Powered Up. This is for making a certain weapon into a +3 weapon. So simply remaking a weapon 3 times, or making it 4 times if you want to think of it that way. Just simply get to a certain weapon +3 with that character, and you'll get this play record. You don't need to make every single weapon though, which is good because there are certain weapons that you can only get from Legendary mode on the arena, and you only get 3 of those per forma per playthrough. So you don't need to worry about making every weapon. Just make sure you get all of these and do it for every single character. Next we head to the field section. A lot of these top ones are simply from exploring the game normally. So, going to Daitama, Fortuna, a lot of these you'll just uncover naturally as the game progresses. Some of these are discovering shops and important places. Basically, if you can fast travel to it, you'll get a play record for it. So these are all the different places that you will discover along the way. Next we get to the Idolosphere field play records. And these are also very similar. There are 3 associated with each individual area: invaded, charted, and looted. Invaded simply means visiting the Idolosphere for the first time, which you'll get as you play the game normally. Charted is basically having 100% map completion of each Idolosphere. More or less. You could probably... I know there were some cases where I was uncharting a map and it wasn't quite 100%, but it still counted. But essentially, you need to have essentially 100% of the map uncovered. So you do want to have your map out and basically just try to walk to every single corner of an Idolosphere. Next is looted. This means that you found and collected every treasure in the Idolosphere. If you open a treasure chest and there isn't any... well, I shouldn't say that. If you open a treasure chest but you can't claim the treasure, that doesn't count. You need to take the contents of every chest in an Idolosphere in order to get this play record. So if you can't hold the room for the item, make sure you sell whatever excess items you have and come back to get it. And this is true for every single Idolosphere in the game. So once again, simply visiting it, full map completion, and get every chest. Next, we head on over to some of the more dungeon-specific play records. We have Illusionary Bully, Assassin, and Exterminator. This is simply knocking down enemy mirages on the field 30 times, 100 times, and 500 times respectively. It's a pretty simple process, and whether you fight or just simply run away, it doesn't matter. All you need to do is knock them down. Next, we get to specific dungeon play records. Each dungeon, with the exception of Illusionary Daito TV, have their own unique play records. In Daitama, This is Heaven and Earth, where you simply go up or down an elevator 10 times. Pretty simple, especially considering how many times you'll go through Daitama when it comes to certain requests, or if you need to farm some Performa. Lost in 106 is going through the mannequins in Illusionary 106 50 times. It doesn't matter if it's on the top floors or in the basement, just go through a mannequin 50 times. Next is Paparazzi, in which you need to be caught by the cameras in Illusionary Shibuya 30 times. This one is easily missable considering that the cameras are essentially traps. So do make sure that you intentionally get caught 30 times. Next is Puzzle Time in Illusionary Daiba Studio. This is essentially just hitting the switches in the panel area in Daiba Studio 50 times. Relatively simple considering you need to use those buttons to get through the dungeon as well as to claim certain chests that are in the area. Not really too hard to get this one. And then Platformer. Well, I suppose there wouldn't be one in Illusionary Memories as well in that case. So, for Platformer, you just need to go on the moving blocks in Illusionary Dollar 50 times. Again, not really too difficult to do. Next is Cardio Strong, where you jump down from a height 30 times. Different heights are in different dungeons. There's some in Illusionary Shibuya, some in Daiba Studio. You just need to jump down 30 times from any dungeon. Fly Away is using the Warp Portal 50 times. So whenever you need to go to a certain area in a dungeon, that counts towards this play record. So simply just warping to and from different areas, you'll get this considering you need to go to dungeons quite frequently for requests and side missions. Also through general dungeon completion if you're going to recover or make carnages. Abbey Roadrunner is using the crosswalk in normal Shibuya 100 times. So you don't want to just fast travel while you're on the main map. You do want to just travel on foot in Shibuya and use the crosswalks. This one isn't really too bad to get, but as long as you're constantly just walking in Shibuya, this is a pretty simple one to get. And then finally, there's Marathon Man, where you need to walk 42.195 kilometers. I am not sure what that translates to in miles, but essentially, if you walk around enough, you'll get this. Next, we move on to Combat. So our first set of play records are Combat Novice, Specialist, Pro, and Master. These unlock by winning 10 battles, 100 battles, 500 battles, and 1,000 battles respectively. It's not really too hard to get the first three. The last one might be a little bit difficult to get. But if you're constantly fighting and considering you will need to go through 3 entire playthroughs, chances are you're going to get this through the normal course of gameplay. So I wouldn't worry too much about grinding for this one, considering you're gonna need to grind anyway for some other play records. Cough, cough, M. Deus, cough, cough. Next we have the Sensations, Local, National, and World. These are play records you get for inflicting 500 damage, 1,000 damage, and 5,000 damage with a single attack. Note that it's with an attack, not with a session. These are also pretty simple and you'll probably get throughout the normal course of gameplay. If you're having a little bit of trouble for World Sensation, just go back to, say, Illusionary Daitama when you're near the end of the game and use Exploit an Enemy's Weakness. You'll probably get like 9 or 10,000 damage on the enemy. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Next we have Sessions. Trio Session, Orchestral Session, and Symphonic Session for doing a 3 combo session, a 10 combo session, and a 15 combo session respectively. Trio session isn't really that bad so long as you get the Radiant Unity that allows you to participate in sessions from the subcast. A pretty simple one to get. Orchestral session, you need to trigger a duo art in order to get a 10 combo session. I would recommend also at least having Momony up to your party simply because you're restricted on what what dual arts you get up to that point, and also just trying to have enough people in your party. For Symphonic Session, you're obviously going to want to have your full party, as you need to get 2 dual arts back to back in order to get a 15 combo session. Next, we get to the Session combat play records: Amateur, Virtuoso, and Maestro. These you get for defeating 20 enemies with session skills, 100 enemies, and 500 enemies. Again, you'll probably get these throughout the normal course of gameplay since triggering sessions is kind of the whole point of combat if you don't want to die. So again, wouldn't worry too much about those. Next is Debut Performer, Season Performer, and Idol Performer. These you get for using a single SP skill, 50 SP skills, and 100 SP skills. Again, not really something you should concern yourself with too much, since you get more and more SP skills as you go through the game, and they are very instrumental through a number of fights. So you'll probably get this throughout the normal course of gameplay. What might be a little tricky are these two, though: Fortuna All-Star and Mirage All-Star. These you get for using every cast member SP skill and every Mirage SP skill. What's the difference? For a cast member's SP skill, these are each character's SP skill that they learn from their side missions. So, a few examples would be Strike a Pose, Debut Smile, Raindrop Memories, those types of things that you unlock through completing individual characters' side missions. For Mirage All-Star, you get these for each Mirage's SP skill, which you get for making that specific Mirage's Carnage the first time, as well as class changing them for the first time. I'd recommend just using the SP skill as soon as you get it, so that way it's completely checked off, so to say, and you don't need to worry about it. This does mean you need to build up SP, but you could very easily do that if you're just grinding in a lower level dungeon. I would recommend just doing that right away as soon as you get a new SP skill. That way you won't need to try to remember which ones you have and haven't done later. Next we have Duo Ensemble, in which you use every single duo art at least once. This one's not really too bad, as the game is generally good for giving you a chance to use a new duo art once you learn it. So, again, as long as you're paying attention and you know which duo arts you have or haven't done, this one's a pretty simple one to get. Next is Tactical Retreat, where you escape from a battle 10 times. This is either done through the running away command or using a smoke machine. Not really too hard to get, especially since it's a very low number that you need to run away from. And oftentimes, if you're not prepared to fight savage enemies, you're gonna be running away from them. Next is Storm and Stress. This is defeating 4 enemies in a single session attack. This is most easily done once you have Itsuki's Radiant Unities that allow you to jump from enemy to enemy once you achieve an overkill. So again, you'll probably get this throughout the normal course of gameplay. If you're having trouble with this, I would recommend at least getting all of Itsuki's Radiant Unities up to that point, and going to a low level area where there are at least 4 enemies. Next is Guardian Mamarine, where you have Mamari take damage for an ally 10 times. This is done through her passive skill, Shield of Devotion. So make sure that you keep that on Mamari, and once she takes a hit 10 times, you'll get this play record. Next is Counter-Offensive, in which you successfully counter an attack 10 times. This is Yashiro's signature skill, and again, as long as you keep counter, and as long as you use it on enemies, you'll be able to get this no problem. Just remember that counter only works on physical attacks. And it also doesn't work when it comes to a ranged attack like arrows. So keep that in mind if you're using counter. Next is Symphony of 1,000, in which you heal for 1,000 HP in a single action. Pretty easy when it comes to late game when your characters have over 1,000 HP. And once you get access to like Diarahan or Mediarahan, again, not really a hard one to get for healing. What is a hard play record to get for healing is Dia Witch to the stage. For this play record, you need to use Dia type skills 300 times. These are any variety of Dia, so Media, Diarama, Mediarama, Diarahan, and Mediarahan also count. I am not sure if prayer counts. I think it does, but do not quote me on that. You cannot use items or SP skills to heal, and you also have to do this in battle. Using those spells on the field will not count for this play record. So make sure that you heal using normal Dia skills in battle. Next is Crowd Pleaser, in which you gain session bonuses 50 times. This is a pretty simple one to get, as you'll get session bonuses when you have a session of at least 2. So whenever you get money or performa from sessions, that goes to this counter and is pretty simple to get. Next we come to the Almost Death play records, Last Man Standing and Won't Give Up. These two are pretty similar. For Last Man Standing, you have to have 6 characters unconscious and have the 7th character win a fight. Won't Give Up is the exact same, but the 7th character has to have HP critical HP. That was a little redundant. But essentially their HP has to be in the red. This can be a little tricky to try to do. What I would recommend to try to do for both of these is 1, get them simultaneously. But to achieve almost wiping your entire party, try to find a savage enemy that you know you can survive. Have them completely kill off 2 party members and then run away. And just repeat the process until you only have 1 party member left. After that, get them HP critical in some way, whether it's fighting savage enemies or fighting later game enemies and just whittling away at their HP. Poison does a significant job in doing this if you can manage to get that last character poisoned. Get them down to red HP, find a weak enemy to kill, and kill that weak enemy. Do that, and you'll get this play record, or play records. Next, we have What a Sausage Fest. So for this, it's pretty simple. You need to win 10 battles, with the final cast at the end of the battle being Itsuki, Toma, and Yashiro. Pretty simple. Next, we have the Savage Enemy play records. Savage Hunt, Conquest, and Slaughter. These are self-explanatory, as you need to defeat a single savage enemy, 20 savage enemies, and 100 savage enemies. Yeah. What I would recommend for this would be the Savage Hunter DLC. That is an incredibly helpful DLC, as for defeating savage enemies, you do receive Detritus. And if you defeat savage enemies in the DLC dungeon, you get anywhere from 11 to 13 Detritus in a single fight. which is very helpful if you want to take on Deus. So you can essentially kill two birds with one stone. If you don't have access or don't want to have access to that DLC, then you do have Yashiro's field spell to help you out if you can find a specific area where savage enemies will spawn. A little bit harder to try to grind up for that eventual boss fight, but it is an option that you have available to you. Next we have the rare enemy play records. Gold Medal and Gold Rush for defeating the 6th element, or the weaker of the two rare enemies, a single time and 10 times. And Alien Stalker and Earth Defense Team Fortuna for defeating Pretorius, or the stronger of the rare enemies, a single time and 10 times. Again, not really too bad, especially with Yashiro's field spell. You use that, use Mamori's field spell to get enemies to appear quicker, and find a spot where those enemies constantly respawn. And you can get both of these types of enemies to spawn very quickly. Next we have the Arena play records. We have Arena Apprentice, Prodigy, Spectacle, and Legend. You get these for beating Beginner, Intermediate, Advanced, and Legendary once. You don't need to get all of the titles in the arena. You just need to beat every level once. Legend might be a tough order, but you also only get access to it in New Game Plus. So it becomes a lot more doable since you are already at a higher level. And again, you only need to beat it one time. You don't need to do any encores or anything like that. Just go through a single round of each level. And finally, in terms of the combat section, we have the costume play records. These play records are for completing battles with certain characters in certain costumes. The first is Training Battle, in which you have all 3 characters at the end of a battle finish while they have their lesson mode costumes. You basically just need any 3 party members. As long as they're in their lesson mode costumes, this will count. Next we have an Everyday Encounter, which is similar but with the regular clothes. So whenever you see a character throughout normal gameplay with just their regular street clothes, just put the character in combat with those street clothes. Any 3, and finish the battle with them. Next is our 776-day war, which is a nice nod to Thracia 776, but to get this, you need to have Itsuki, Toma, and Yashiro in the school uniforms. Next is Kawaii Combat, in which you need to have Itsuki in his regular street clothes, Kiria in her cat outfit, and Mamori in her schoolgirl outfit. A pretty simple one well, to be fair, all of these are pretty simple if you know what costumes to use. Next is Alez Cuisine. For this, you need to have Itsuki as his lord outfit, and then either Mamori, Ellie, or Yashiro in their microwaving outfit. It can be any of those 3 characters, but they have to be in the microwave outfit in order for this to work. Next is Masquerade, in which you need Itsuki as a lord, Toma as Raiga, and Yashiro as Meshirabre. I still can't pronounce that. For this one, be sure that Toma is in Raiga and not Ogma. It can be a little bit confusing if you have, since Toma does have 2 different, well actually technically 4 different outfits, but I'm pretty sure either Raiga outfit works. If you want to be on the safe side, just go with the normal Raiga outfit. Next, we have Classmates School Edition. This is pretty similar to the 776-day war, but it's Itsuki, Tsubasa, and Ellie in their school outfits. Next is Classmates Festival Edition, in which Itsuki is dressed up as a lord, and Tsubasa and Ellie are in Cocktail Dream. This is both of their Dreamcatcher outfits. So just pair Tsubasa and Ellie with those outfits and have Itsuki as a lord. And then finally is Classmates Date Edition, in which Itsuki is a lord, Tsubasa is Sky Blue Smile, and Ellie is Sunnyside. Basically, these are Tsubasa and Ellie's modeling outfits that you see them in at the end of Chapter 2. So put both of them in their modeling outfits and have Itsuki as a lord. Next, we go to the money section. So these are all dealing with the different shops. We have Market Regular, Market Connoisseur, and Market Hero. These are for buying the different items within the Hiho Mart. So, this is not quantity of items, but having each individual item bought. So for regular, it's 10%, for Connoisseur, it's 50%, and for Hero, it's everything. You just need to buy every single item once. And this is true for every shop. We have the Bootleg Shop, which is the masked sales clerk in the Hiho Mart, or as I like to affectionately call her, Demon Anna. We have Jewelry, in which you need to buy every accessory in Caribbean. Do note that characters do have their own specific accessories, and you need to buy one of those as well. I would personally recommend that you don't sell off any accessories, so that way you know which ones you have already bought, so that way you don't buy duplicates. This may not necessarily be too much of a problem, since money becomes less of an issue as you go further in the game, especially if you carry over money in New Game Plus, but it is a tip to keep in mind. Next we have Boutique, and these are the different costumes that you buy at Anzu. So basically just buy out all of Anzu's stock. Next is having a certain amount of money in your wallet. So we have High Roller Pocket Change, in which you have 10,000 yen. Or you earn 10,000 yen, I should say. Celebrity Paycheck is when you get 300,000 yen. And Millionaire Club, which is when you get 5 million yen. That may sound daunting, but considering how much money you earn and accumulate throughout the game, it really becomes a bit of a non-issue towards the end, and especially in New Game Plus. And finally, we reach the last category, Miscellaneous. Now, a lot of these are the different requests that you see throughout Tokyo. Each request that you see from different NPCs, once completed, gives you a play record. There are 50 of them in total, so be sure that if you see a character, whether they're in Shibuya, whether they're in Harajuku, anywhere in the overworld, and even a few that are in the different idolospheres, make sure that you do every single request. There are some requests that are part of different chains, some that are seemingly unrelated, but still unlock requests. So be sure that you go and do every request that you see, either immediately or once you reach an intermission. In either case, just as long as you do each request at least once, then that is sufficient to get the play records. Moving on down, there are a few requests to keep in mind. Path of the Strong is unlocked once you get Neig in the arena. For Neig, you need to trade him enough detritus, and eventually he'll have a request. This is very easily skippable if you don't trade for detritus. I believe you need to trade with him 12 times in order for this request to be unlocked. And your reward for doing this is getting Lock Touch for Itsuki, which is one of his Radiant skills. So do keep that in mind when you're trying to find different requests and as you're trying to get the different Radiant skills. Finally, there's versus Grandmaster Mirage and the Dragon Descends when it comes to different requests. These two are exclusive to New Game Plus. Versus Grandmaster Mirage you can do as soon as you finish the prologue within a New Game Plus run. However, you need to have unlocked up to Illusionary Dolor within that same run in order to finish this request. So do keep that in mind. And then there's the Dragon Descends. This is request number 50, and to do this, you need to beat M. Deus, this game's super boss. There are different videos out on YouTube if you want to know different strategies. I personally have my own video for M. Deus on normal. I would recommend fighting him on normal or easy if you're just interested in getting the play record. If you want a challenge, you can do it on Lunatic mode, and there are videos out there explicitly for Lunatic. But if you're just after beating it normally, I do have a video out there if you are interested in seeing that. Next is Bounty Hunter, and for this play record, you need to trade with Neeg for each type of detritus. As tempting as it is to just go all in on skill, which you should do if you're going to fight M. Deus, you need to trade for each type of detritus once. There are 6 types for 6 different incenses. Make sure you do that at least once for each type. Next is Survivor, in which you need to finish the game on Lunatic at least once. Lunatic is unlocked once you unlock New Game Plus. So as long as one of your playthroughs is on Lunatic, that's all you need for this play record. Next is World Tour, where you save the game 255 times. This is a little daunting as you may not need to save that many times. Me personally, since I did a Let's Play and saved after every episode, this personally was not too difficult to try to do. But if you're still finding yourself in need of saving, I would recommend just saving an additional 2 or 3 times when you need to save the game. Once. Just save it a couple times in the same spots, and just do that every time that you save. That way, you won't just need to mindlessly grind saving the game. And so, it's to protect your sanity a little bit. Next is second season and third season, where you need to beat the game a second time and a third time. In order to get all of these play records, you need to fully complete the game at least 3 times, and one of those has to be on Lunatic. So as long as either one of these runs, whether it's your second or third run, is on Lunatic, you can get every play record within 3 runs. Next is The Thirst is Real. You get this by buying each of the different sodas from vending machines at least once. There are 11 sodas in the game, and as you go through, you will just naturally go to the soda machines. They're the cheapest way of healing, and the other ways of recovering health don't contribute to play records. One tip I would give when it comes to this particular play record is that there is a rare soda. It is called Muscle Drink EX. It's a pretty rare soda to find, but if you see it, absolutely get that, as that will increase every party member's luck up 1 stage. I think it's the only consumable, well, by consumable, I mean just like any food recovery that does that. So it's the best way to increase everyone's luck, but it is rare. So if you're having trouble getting all the sodas, be on the lookout for that one in particular, and then just try to keep a list of all of the different sodas, and you can very easily grind out this one. Next is Tokyo Oasis, where you simply buy sodas 50 times. Not really too difficult if soda machines are your primary way of recovering outside of idolospheres. this one is kind of mean, and these last play records are a little bit odd. First is Tear Drinker, in which you attempt to buy a soda, but can't because you don't have the money. Sodas cost 160 yen, so you need to have less than that amount of money in order to get this play record. Because of this, I recommend that you try to get this one either at the beginning of your first playthrough or at the beginning of a lunatic run. Because it's much easier to burn through about 10,000 yen than to burn through 20 million yen. So keep that in mind. Next is Dazzling Sky, in which you need to have a lens flare for 5 seconds straight. To get this, you need to head on over to the Tobo rooftop, where Toma is frequently found. And you need to have a lens flare for 5 seconds. What I would recommend is that you go to pretty far, well, not really too far from the entrance, and hold the left stick straight down. Don't try to modify the left stick in any way. Just keep it straight down and make sure that you can see a lens flare. Keep that up for about 5 seconds and you should get this play record. If you're having any trouble, try going closer to the entrance of the area, but still make sure you have the lens flare. If you can see a lens flare, you're probably good. But I know that I had trouble trying to get this one because I tried to modify the camera in any which way. Just hold it straight down. That's the best advice I can give. Next is No Time for Words, in which you accumulate 30 unread topics. This is pretty easy to do since your party members will contact you with different flavor topics throughout the game. You can proceed to ignore them since you don't need to respond to those. The only ones you need to respond to are typically important to story or through side missions. You could also just build up a ton of different Carnage or Radiant unities through topic. Those can be a little iffy because once you actually make the Carnage or Radiant unity, that automatically goes away from your topic. So keep that in mind. But generally, if you accumulate flavor text, you'll get this one simple enough. Next is One versus the World, where you simply collide with 1,000 pedestrians. As long as you're walking throughout Shibuya and Harajuku, this one really isn't too bad, as there's tons of just anonymous NPCs that walk around. So again, not really too difficult to get. Next is Citywide Epidemic, in which you need to walk 500 meters with someone who is poisoned. So, you need to make sure that a party member is poisoned and then just walk around with them, as opposed to just healing them straight out. Do note that you'll need to get a party member poisoned twice, as while walking around, a party member will eventually recover from poison, and just having them poisoned once, they will recover before you walk 500 meters, so you will need to do this at least twice. Next is We Must Press On, where you need to do the exact same thing as the previous play record, but while having a party member in the unconscious state. This is pretty simple if you're also going for the have everyone except one person dead play records. So this one is a lot easier to get than Citywide Epidemic. Next is City Hunter, where you need to speak to female NPCs 100 times. These include your different party members as well as different NPCs that you need for different requests. So as long as you just keep talking to people, as long as they're female, you'll generally be fine. Next is Itsuki Knows Best, which you get for buying Mamani's schoolgirl outfit. I don't know why this is so special that it has to have its own play record. Next is Goddess Pose. And for this, the description says, let a scantily clad female cast member stand idle for 3 minutes. basically, you need to have either Kiria, Ellie, or Tsubasa have a specific costume, and then just have the game idle for 3 minutes. Don't input any commands. Don't, try to use an item or a skill or a tag. Just have it on the item or, action wheel with that female party member in a specific costume. How I personally got this is that I had Kiria in her lesson outfit. And I believe that's the only outfit of Kiria's that works. At least for the international version. For Ellie, she has a few costumes. There is her lesson outfit, there is her cocktail dress, or her dreamcatcher outfit as I call it, as well as her modeling outfit. For Tsubasa, about a third of her costumes will work. Her Pegasus outfit will work, I think her Fly You're My Wind outfit will work, her modeling outfit will work, her Amrita dress outfit will work. Her Dreamcatcher outfit will work. If you're using Tsubasa for this, pick a costume that isn't her lesson outfit or her normal clothes or her school outfits, and you're probably going to get this. Next is She Loves Me Not, which is speaking to Ayaha 50 times. This one is pretty simple since you need to talk to Ayaha a lot for her side quest chain. So, just talk to her quite a bit. If you're wanting to try to grind out conversations, just talk to her randomly whenever she doesn't have anything, and you'll be fine. Next is Life is a Gamble, where you participate in 100 lotteries. This one is pretty simple to get, especially since you're probably going to be going to Anzu quite a lot for lotteries. There's a lot of posters that you need to get for play record we will get into shortly, as well as the Tiki costumes that we went over earlier. So just go to Anzu to try to get the different, posters and costumes. If you have everything but still don't have this play record, congratulations on your luck. But you can also go to the Hiho Mart with either Normal Anna, which uses 1 Mel mark, or Demon Anna, which uses 3. Both of those lotteries can get you different incenses, with Demon Anna's potentially giving you Master Seals after Chapter 5. Next is Dry Your Eyes and Nose, in which you get 20 pocket tissues from the Anzu lottery. You'll probably get this normally, as you get this by getting repeat posters. So don't worry too much about this one. If you don't get this but have all the posters, again, congratulations on your luck. But just simply go through Anzu's lottery until you get 20 pocket tissues. And then the final play record, Such a Magnificent Collection, in which you get every single poster from Anzu's lottery system. And with that, that is every single play record. By completing all of those, you eventually get the Hall of Fame trophy. Again, this is your ultimate goal, for if you have this trophy, it means you have every single play record. So I hope this video has been helpful for you in case there have been certain play records that you haven't gotten and didn't know what to do, or you just want to know a little bit more about this game. So, I hope this has been informative, and I hope you have a great day. So until next time, everyone, take care.